everyone, and a warm welcome to today's session AI Training Gold Rush, capturing the multi-trillion-dollar opportunity. As organizations worldwide race to adopt AI, one truth is becoming clear: AI success isn't just about technology, it's about people. Today, we'll explore how forward thinking enterprises are seizing the AI opportunity through skills development, role based certification, and scalable workforce readiness programs that deliver real business value. This session is being recorded and we encourage you to drop your questions in the Q&A panel anytime during the webinar. We'll take them up towards the end. I'm delighted to introduce our speakers for today. First, we have Ben Watson, Chief Commercial Officer at AI CERTs. Ben has built and scaled multiple education technology ventures, including founding and selling scholars.com to Skillsoft. At AI CERTs, he leads global growth, helping organizations define role based AI readiness and transform AI from a buzzword into measurable capability. Ben is passionate about empowering enterprises to make AI adoption a true competitive advantage, and he's here today to share how to do just that. Joining Ben is our second speaker, Bill Becker. Bill is the VP Strategic Partnerships North America for AI Certs. He is a longtime writer and speaker about careers and the author of two books: The Job Nobody Dreams of, Inside the Greatest Career You Have Never Heard of, and second, Create Your Own Job, an innovative strategy for job applicants. Together, Ben and Bill bring a unique global perspective on how organizations, from enterprises to training partners, can capture value from the fast emerging AI training market. With that, let's just dive into it. Bill and Ben, over to you.
Perfect. Thank you. Geez,
Thanks.
Bill, I love your introduction because I don't get to say I wrote books and things like that. How cool is that?
Well, I
You're
think
smart.
mine needs to be longer because I don't think, I stack up as good as you.
Ah, well, we'll have to see. Maybe if we get a chance, we'll put a link to your books in the chats and stuff. Well, hey everyone. I don't know. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Happy Wednesday to everyone. We're getting near the end of the month. Um, we have a fairly large audience today, so we will try to answer any questions you guys have in the chat. Please post them there. Based on what we've done on previous sessions, we're trying to aggregate them and answer them in a way that can answer a bunch of the questions being posed. So we'll see if we can get that going. The last couple of times we ran this, we weren't able to get to everyone's questions. So just um, heads up on that. Bill, let's go to the next slide and let's take people through. I'll take people through the agenda and just the roles that we're going to play and stuff. But for the next 57 minutes, we're going to take you through one, who is AI Certs and what is it that we do and what do we offer. Then Bill's going to take us through some interesting stats on the North America or the Americans region. Many of these sessions that we do are region specific, just because I think everyone agree that AI is becoming a dominant, transformation around the world, but the way it's happening is a little bit different in different regions, right? So we have a bunch of US and in general stats that I think reinforce the market opportunity. And obviously, we host these sessions because we are looking for more partners to help deliver the certifications and the training programs that AI Certs has created. So Bill's going to take us through that. Bill's going to take us through kind of the way we partner around the world, both with training companies, academic institutions, industry associations, affiliates. We have a number of different partner programs because just like AI is being adopted differently in different regions around the world, the market needs are being met with these different market programs, right? So Bill's going to take us through the highlights, and then I'm going to come back and give you some actual case studies on how AI is impacting specific industries. And I actually find this really interesting because AI is being used differently around the world. It's being, the needs are different depending on whether you're looking for commercial training or training from your academic institution, but it's also different depending on the industry. And I'm going to take you through, I think I put in like 3 or 4 case studies on how AI is impacting the legal industry, the finance industry, the healthcare industry, because I think those 3 different views kind of sum up the opportunity in front of us, right? AI implemented around the world in different regions, in different ways by countries, by the type of the need, training, academic, industry associations, and then by the different industries themselves. So we got a lot of things to go through. We're going to swap back and forth. But let me start off with just who is AI CERTs. Now, if you haven't heard us, we are arguably one of the largest certification bodies in the world. One of the things, I never put it on the slide here because it changes a lot. We actually are over 450 people now at AI CERTs. So I just want to say that again because that is a lot of people. 450 people building certification programs that are designed to get people ready for AI. Literacy programs, fluency programs, and mastery programs. And I actually do this as a progression because I think there's a lot of people in the world that need to have basic understanding of AI. Literacy, AI literacy. What is AI at a very basic level? We have a solution for that. Then we have people who, depending on their roles, need to understand how AI is impacting their specific roles. And this is where we say that we offer role-based certifications because if you think about it, it makes sense. The person using AI as a lawyer is going to be using different tools and technologies and apps in a different way than someone who is, for example, in sales or marketing, right? AI is being used quite differently by different roles. Um, and this is one of the reasons why we have so many people working for us inside AI CERTs, right? We have to go and create, and I'll show you in a slide coming up, role-specific certification programs. Now, I use the phrase certification program specifically because every one of our training programs, whether it's instructor-led or self-paced e-learning, includes the exam. And I think this is one of the things I like around AI certs is you don't go take a course over here and then you go over someplace else to take the certification exam. We package the two together, right? And the goal of this session is finding those commercial training providers, academic providers, associations who will help bring these certification programs to the people that need them, different industries, different countries around the world. Now, you can see here a whole bunch of gray boxes, right? Every box is one of our certification programs. And right now we're at like, I don't know what, Bill, 53, 54, is that where we're
53.
at? 53. We're starting now to put in pluses, right? Like 50 plus and so on. This month and next month, I think we have another, I don't know, 17 certification programs coming out. But what I want to do with this slide, and I have a couple of different slides with different views. So I just picked this one to put into this session, is grouping them by kind of practice areas, right? So if you look at this, the slide is actually divided into two. You can see in the middle this faint gray line. Everything to the left are 1 day certification programs. And I think of these as our AI fundamentals, right? These are, role specific and all the rest. And they're about getting people fluent in AI. I'm going to come back to that in a moment. The right-hand side are 5-day or 40-hour courses. Every one of these are available as an instructor-led course delivered by our partners or a self-paced e-learning courses. Okay, so 1 day on the left, 5 days on the right. Now, when you look at this, you'll see that many of the names of our certification programs are based on roles. So you can see on the left under business, we have all the common roles that an enterprise offers, right? Or an enterprise has, right? Salespeople, marketing people, finance people, legal people, HR. Why do we do this? Because many enterprises need to move everyone inside their company to using AI, right? We also go after individuals, and individuals are, I'm in this role and I need to learn about how AI is impacting me. But the common need, whether it's helping enterprises get ready for AI or helping individuals get ready for AI, much of this, especially those 1 day courses, is about getting people fluent. And this is kind of the new word that came out over the last several months is this notion of AI fluency. Because in many ways, the way that you interact with AI, whether it's apps or tools or different AI technologies, it's almost like speaking a different language because you have to understand what you're trying to say. You have to understand and interpret what the tool is giving back to you, right? So it's now about becoming AI fluent. So again, AI literacy, AI fluency, and then that right-hand side is AI mastery. These are the 5-day deeper courses. Now, we are an AI readiness certification body. We don't do vendor technical training, right? This is about helping individuals and enterprises start or continue down their journey on AI. If the company then says this is great, everyone understands, how AI is impacting their role and what it is, and they go and start using Microsoft Copilot or Google Gemini, then there's technical training from those vendors available. We don't do that. We're that bit in the middle. People that are curious, people that want to become fluent, people that need vendor specific technical training, we're the one in the middle. Okay. Now, in addition to all these roles that many common companies have, HR, finance, and so on, you see some other groupings there, right? Because AI isn't just about common roles. We also have certifications around things like different industries, right? So you can see down in the bottom left-hand corner, specialization, that dark box, AI plus healthcare. AI in healthcare is being used quite differently than, AI in a legal firm or a bank or things like this. So we've also gone and created industry specific certifications. And you can see there, in addition to the standard roles that a company has, for healthcare, we have a flagship certification called AI plus healthcare, good for anyone in the healthcare industry, followed by industry specific job roles, AI plus doctor, AI plus nurse, AI plus healthcare administrator, AI plus medical assistant. So one of the things we're trying to do here with our portfolio, we're at, I don't know, 53, 54, whatever Bill said, is every month, thanks to the hard work of the 450 plus people that work for us, we're coming out with dozens of new specific certifications that are role-based and or industry aligned. On the right-hand side, you can see these more technical topics, right? 5-day courses for developers, network engineers, ethical hacker. I mean, a whole portfolio around security with all these different levels, cloud architects, even things around blockchain and Bitcoin, because those are starting to intersect with AI as well. Last thing, and then we'll move to the slide, is in the upper left-hand corner, we have a category called essentials. I view these are fundamentals, right? Everyone needs to understand, regardless of your role, what is AI. So we have a series of these certification programs, starting with AI Plus Foundation, AI for Everyone, AI for Executives and Leaders, and then AI Plus Prompt Engineer Level 1. FYI, we're going to rename it. We're going to call it AI Plus Prompt or AI Plus Prompting, because we think everyone needs to understand how to prompt. Everyone needs to understand, whether you're an individual or a leader, what AI is. And then AI Plus Foundation is our free certification program around AI literacy. You can actually go to our website, aicerts.ai, and it's a 4-hour certification program, 4 hours of e-learning plus this online proctored exam that you have to take. It is a certification, but that is our gift to the world around making sure that at no cost, at the very least, everyone understands the basics of AI literacy. Bill, does that make sense? Did I skip anything?
You evidently gave me a gift, because I have famously been arguing about prompt engineer level 1. I hate the word engineer in that course because it's not a technical course.
Yep.
It's writing good prompts. So I feel
Surprise.
like I've won. I won. We got a new
Well,
course coming, a new
it's
name coming.
a new rename. And the nice thing with it
Yeah.
is, if you guys remember, like 12 months ago, it was, well, the new role is prompt engineer. And if you're a prompt engineer, you can make $100,000 a year and stuff like that. Well, fast forward to today, these AI tools have gotten so good that all of us, right, can become really good prompting experts. And that's why that course needs to be, renamed and, like you said, Bill, opened up to the masses. Now, if that's who we are, right? Global certification body, we follow the ISO standard. When we create these certifications, it's not some guy sitting in a room somewhere is going, gosh, this is what I think, lawyers need to know, right? It goes through a process of market research, job task analysis, skills blueprinting, objective domains, write the questions for the exam, write the coursework for instructor-led training, develop the courses for self-paced e-learning. That's what, the hundreds of us do here at AI CERTs. And then you saw on this screen the result of it, right? There's 50 plus certifications coming out. Bill, I just heard last week by, 90 days from now, maybe 120 days, the portfolio is going to double. And the reason for why is every industry has at least 10 roles that are being impacted. We have identified 25 industries, from government, healthcare, standard companies, to real estate, to construction and mining and automotive and retail. All of these industries have roles that are using AI, and all these roles and all these companies and all these organizations need to get their entire group ready to use AI. Now, if that's who we are and what we offer, Bill, throw some numbers behind this, right? Like, what do we see here in the US?
No, I'm always leery of sharing numbers because what do they say? There's stats, and then there's lies. But we've done some research, the same research we do on creating the exams and the courses. And I think everyone understands that AI is a big thing. I joke that you can't go 5 minutes and not hear those two letters. I told my wife that, and she laughed, and I laughed, and weirdly enough, the microwave laughed, and it's like, wait. the point of the nonsense is this is a big thing. The 80% of the growth, the investment into AI throughout the world is happening here in the US. There's massive changes going on. But with change, there's opportunities, right? All this investment is going on that need trained individuals to make sure this investment gets the proper ROI, which kind of creates this workforce mismatch, right? So, and one thing I'd like to share is, because it's in the news every single day, these massive layoffs because of AI. That's not happening. The layoffs are happening, but it's not because of AI. There's everyone thinking about AI. A lot of people are excited, even though they may not know why. Others, there's workforce anxiety, and that's real. This is the opportunity for partners to take advantage of all this investment, this whole reskilling of entire organizations. There's a big skill gap that all these billions and billions of dollars that are going in, investing in AI, the people that are investing that money are not going to see any return on that unless the workforce gets retrained. That's the opportunity for partners. And I literally came out of retirement to do this. So I'm excited, and you guys should be excited as well. So more talking about enterprise upskilling. When I talk to partners one-on-one, and I hope to get a chance to talk with all of you over the next couple of weeks, a traditional IT training company, I say, you remember when you sold 5-day SQL classes and you made bank? And they go, oh, yeah, the good old days. Maybe 2% of the world even knew what SQL was. Everyone has heard of AI. Entire organizations need some sort of training. As Ben talked about earlier, at the very least, everyone needs AI literacy. And then make a great case, everyone should learn prompting. They need to learn prompting. That's not a nice to have anymore. That's a deal breaker if you can't write good prompts, regardless of your job. And then different job role specific executives. So as these stats show, it's just the opportunity is growing, money is being poured in, and this is never in the history of the training business has something like this happened, where the entire organization needs training on this particular subject. Well, it's a good segue. It's now an enterprise mandate. Everyone needs training on some sort of level. Again, everyone needs literacy, writing good prompts, and then job role specific. And that's what's very cool about what we do. No one else in the world, I talk about this with partners, we don't really train on AI. We train on how AI impacts specific job roles. No one else does that, especially with the certification. And Ben talked about all the research and job task analysis that goes in. Our general manager told me, he goes, Bill, if you sat in one of those meetings, I would make you cry. It's so boring and monotonous, but it creates a legit proctored exam. And from that comes the training courses. And that's something that we see as being embraced big time by HR and learning and development organizations. Again, how big EdTech is going to be, that you see different areas of and our partners. You have learning platforms, you have traditional IT training companies, you have entire companies that are bringing in different types of training. And one of the things we'll get a little bit later on but I think it's important because Ben is going to talk about some case studies a little bit later, but think about this. You can learn anything you want for free on the internet. So what would you do if you're going to go out and learn about this AI thing? Well, you would probably go look for case studies, right? How is AI being used in my industry? Even better if I can find out what AI is being used by my competitors, but you use that and you say, all right, this is how I would use AI here. What's the next thing you would do? You would go research tools, right? People in my job role, what kind of tools are they using today? Great, you've done all that. You're AI ready. Prove it. That's where the certification ties everything in. That's the beauty of this model. And this is why corporations are embracing this, because they need upskilling. They need workers that are trained on AI and job role specific, but they also need to know that that money they're investing is having a good return. The certification validates everything. So partners, we sell through partners, and we'll get a little bit more of the different ones, but regardless of whether you're a traditional IT training company, an association, academic partner, we have so many resources to provide you. And again, certification ties everything together. There's all kinds of training out there, all the different organizations, training companies, learning platforms, tons of opportunity to learn about AI, but we're the ones through our partners that provide the way to learn how it impacts jobs and how to do the job better and prove that you actually know that you're trained, you're AI ready. So we'll get into the partner model. So first is academic and institutional partners. So think of, regardless of, we have colleges, we have universities, and there's lots of different ways that works with academic partners because of all the state laws and the different models. So are the certification courses going to be blended into the curriculum? Is it going to sit on top of the curriculum? We've learned with working with academic partners that they're not big on the word certification, but they do love micro credentials. And because AI is moving so fast, they need what we're offering, because when you take a course, regardless of instructor-led or e-learning, you get access to that content for a year. And because it's AI, it's going to change, right? And so when content gets updated, students will get an email. And so when we were talking to a partner a couple of months ago, he goes, oh, this is like running a course book, for the year. I go, it's way better, because any course book today is outdated by the time it hits students' hands. So that some of the cool things that the academic partners need what we're offering, because they just can't keep up. Things are moving so fast. Associations are big partners with this as well. We love to work with associations, again, role specific. We also love to co-brand, co-develop, and co-sell. So one of the things that we're doing is internal auditors. Ben might tell you a little bit more about that, but we put a partnership together where we're creating special courses and certifications for their organization. I don't know, Ben, you got a minute to share that?
Well, the better one is we just announced on Monday some co-developed certifications with the Cyber Future Foundation. I'll put it into the chat, but that's where we work with that association to do some very specialized certifications for cybersecurity professionals, right? So not just the standard, you know, security level 1, security level 2, security level 3. But with this partner, we developed some ones around security and governance and frameworks and things like that. Something that's, really a hot topic for those security professionals. I'll put it in the chat. I'll put a link
Okay,
to that
I
in the chat.
appreciate that. So the other areas are training, traditional training companies, enterprise, and affiliates. So I think, if you're with a traditional IT training company, that kind of makes sense of what we do, right? But it's not just them. We're working with managed service providers that become training partners. If you have, regardless of what you've been training over the years, and it could be soft skills training, it could be anything non-IT, but you've been in business for X number of years. You have this database of customers that know you, respect you, trust you. Again, this has never happened in the history of the training business. Everyone that's in that database is thinking about AI. They're looking, how do I get myself AI ready? How do I get my organization AI ready? So the training partners are not just what you think of, your New Horizons, Global Knowledge, or the little training center I ran in Tulsa. Any type of training that you do, AI CERTs has a program for you. We even have affiliates there, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But even people that I call AI evangelists, they're individuals, but they have a big following, have been joining us because that evangelism can be monetized with our partnership program. And then along those lines, but maybe a step below, are influencers. There's people that have a really successful blog or newsletter or podcast. That's where our affiliate program comes in. So all of our traditional partnerships, you can provide e-learning and the instructor-led training. But if you have an audience, you have a newsletter, you have a podcast, through our affiliate, you're able to sell our e-learning. So why AI CERTs? What do you get? We are globally recognized. We have case studies. We have, we'll show you the UI in a minute, but there's a lot of thought that went into this, and that's why I was so impressed. That again, that the lecture, regardless of whether it's instructor-led or e-learning, is like, let's go look at some case studies that are relevant to your industry. Then a little bit later, it's like, all right, let's use some tools that people in your job role are using today. You're not going to become proficient in a one-day class or 6 to 8 hours of e-learning, but the idea is you're going to get your hands dirty. And at the end, you go, you know what? I saw 3 or 4 tools during that training. I'm going to go spend more time with that one. Then on top of that, there's also additional resources of 10 to 20 other tools that we've kind of curated for people to take a look at. Marketing is just, I think that's the thing that really sold me for joining the company. Marketing and sales resources. We have hundreds of resources, from course outlines, executive summaries, webinar in the box, podcasts. We love to do co-branded webinars with our partners. We have email templates. Again, the idea is, and it's one of the first webinars I ever did, is like, look, we have this program that you can literally just plug in what you're doing, plug in AI CERTs to monetize the database you've built up over the years and create a significant revenue stream. Because again, everybody in your database, everyone that you've done business with over the years, they're all thinking about AI to some extent. That's the opportunity here. For partner enablement and train the trainers. So if you do live instructor-led training, it does not cost anything for your instructors to become AI CERTs qualified instructors. We have a separate trainer portal. Again, tons of resources, the PowerPoints, decks for the courses, lecture notes, AI mentors for instructors. Just like how we have AI mentors in every course, we have AI mentors for instructors. We have an amazing training team for trainers. So here's where we get into this. This is kind of the really cool stuff that brings everything together. So we love to say multimodality. And so, Bill, what's multimodality? So there's different ways to learn, right? In the old days, you had a course book. In the old days, you had a physical course book, right? Now there's ebooks. We also have the lecture. Even if you take the instructor-led class, you're going to get the video lecture. So you can watch, you can read. If you're like me, when I go through the courses, I watch the video lecture with the closed captioning on. And you can even actually speed it up a little bit if you can take that in quicker. We also have two audio versions for every course. First, your traditional audio book. The other one is, and these are super exciting. We have podcasts. So instead of just one voice talking about it, you have two people talking about that particular lesson. We also say multi-device. So your computer, your tablet, your phone. You can do the courses on your phone, just log into your account. We also have an AI CERTs app that just crossed the 500,000 mark download, which just blows me away. But that's where people on their phones like to listen to podcasts. So they're listening to a lesson while they're working out, walking the dog, doing laundry. You literally can go through every single lesson in a course. You got 4 ways to consume that. And then I mentioned also the AI mentor for every course. So think of it as like a teaching assistant or a homework aid. So the exams here, I'll talk a little bit about this and I'll turn it over to Ben, but how do the exams work? I mentioned we think of ourselves as a certification organization that does training. The exam ties everything together to prove that you're AI ready. So you have 90 minutes. There's 50 questions. You need to get 35 of them right. And they're multiple choice, multiple response. Again, this is a legit proctored exam. And like Ben said, it's not like the old days where you go take a class, then spend $200 on a testing voucher, maybe go someplace else to do the exam. Everything is built in on the platform. So when you get to the end of your course, right there is the chance you could hit start and do your exam immediately. And the good thing is there's also a free retake. So if you didn't make it the first shot, then you get another opportunity. And when you do, you see the certification certificate there in the lower left-hand corner. We love to see those. We see those on LinkedIn all the time that people love to share that as soon as they pass their exam. And now we'll let Ben do some case studies. You're on mute, I think, Ben.
Sorry. As you guys may have seen me while Bill was talking, I'm frantically trying to answer people's questions. We have a very big and engaged audience, so hopefully
That's awesome.
self and others are trying to work our way through the questions. Some of the questions, just before I get to this, is, how do I become a partner and so on. So there's some posts that we just did in the chat with links to our website around what does it take to become a partner, and what are the different partner programs. And Bill, you stepped us through it, right? But if you're a company that does um, you know training to individuals and companies, then you can become an authorized training partner. If you're an academic institution, you can become an academic authorized partner. If you're like an individual and you just want to go and promote the training and get a commission on sales when people buy our e-learning courses through our store, we have a thing called the affiliate program for influencers and small companies or individuals. Um, and then the other one is, you know, as Bill said, when he took us through what is a course, and he said, there's different ways of learning and all the rest. You can watch a video, you can read the book, you can listen to these podcasts. I'm like, Bill, I love the podcasts and so on. If partners choose to deliver the instructor-led courses, then we have an authorized training program. The authorized trainer program, we call them AICTs, AI certified trainers. We then help those individuals become certified trainers in specific courses. And that's a program that trainers go through. And when partners deliver instructor-led courses of ours, we require them to use, of course, certified trainers. So there's a lot of different things that we offer depending on the type of partnership that you want. Now, the goal of these next couple of slides is while I was listening, and if this doesn't wasn't making a lot of sense, hopefully you're able to read through this slide is just some examples, right? Because I think Bill, you gave out some really good stats and stuff like this, and people are like, man, those are like a lot of numbers and all the rest. Yeah, it's to show you the demand, right? I mean, AI is one of our um, fastest adopted technologies that we've ever seen, right? I mean, previous technologies were, when the cloud came out and, software on CD-ROMs, were now installed and run and used by the cloud and so on. AI is literally sweeping the world. When you look at things like on this slide in financial services, look at what the slide is covering. To no one's surprise, AI really helps to analyze financial transactions. And you can see some of the stats here around, companies like banks and credit card companies like MasterCard in this example are seeing tremendous advantages of using AI. And they're able to reduce their fraud rates, their false positives, and they're able to do it very quickly because when it comes to credit card transactions, you need to know quickly whether or not you should accept it and process that credit card transaction or reject it because there's something suspicious, right? So, this is where we're seeing banks and credit card companies and those in the financial services embracing AI. Well, of course, if you're in a bank, right, what are the roles then? If the company says, if the bank says, or the credit card company says, hey, we're going to start using AI, well, your software developers need to start incorporating AI into the banks or the credit cards company software solutions. Your sales team needs to understand how to go and reassure your credit card customers that they're protecting them from credit card fraud. The marketing team needs to understand how AI is being used and things like this. So, of course, we're seeing rapid adoption of AI in the financial services industry. Bill, let's flip over to another one. I'm just going to go through these quickly. You guys are going to get a recording of this. Hopefully, you can, read these slides or review the recording at your leisure later. But just like financial services is very quickly moving to using AI, so is the legal industry. Totally different reason, right? Because finance is all about, credit card or commercial financial transactions and analyzing transactions. In the legal industry, it's all around case research, right? If you think about lawsuits and court cases, you're looking for past legal precedents. You're looking for previous decisions that could help sway the judge or the jury around the court case that you're involved in, even to the point where there's AI tools now that can analyze the lawyer's case and help determine how successful is it going to be. Should they settle the case, right? Should they go and argue in front of a jury, right? Even to the point down in the bottom, the AI tools that lawyers are using now are really accurate and it frees up a lot of their time because you don't have to do the manual research anymore. AI tools are doing that basic research for you, presenting it to the lawyers and letting the lawyers summarize and interpret it, but saving a lot of time, with that. So many lawyers, in fact, several of my friends are lawyers, they use AI all the time. Now, again, many of the lawyers in the legal industry, they're not used to using technology, right? They're kind of used to, real basic tools like using Microsoft Office and stuff. When it comes to legal specific AI tools and so on, this is why we created the certification program called AI Plus Legal, designed for anyone in the legal industry to understand what is AI, how is it being used by lawyers, case studies, examples of some of the popular apps being used by lawyers to help them understanding it ready for AI, and then Bill, like you said, in the end, pass this online certification exam and get this base certification, get this validated outcome, right? It's not enough nowadays to, go to YouTube and watch a video, right? People need to not just learn, but they need to prove that they have this fundamental understanding. I think I got one more. Let's go to one more
Yeah,
slide.
we have a second legal course coming out too, agents for legal.
Agents, yes, AI plus legal agents, the companion to AI plus legal, because here at AI CERTs, when we look at how do we get people ready for AI, increasingly there's a growing group of people that also need to get ready for AI agents, right? And Bill, that's a great example because for the legal industry, there are law firms and individuals that are getting ready to use AI. And then some of the more advanced individuals in law firms are already deploying legal agents, right? AI helps augment human beings, right? It makes us more productive. AI agents help to automate some of the key workflows, right? So not just a research task, but actually, researching, filing, and submitting to the court the paperwork, right? Agents now are starting to become popular. So we have AI plus legal and AI plus legal agent. Now, healthcare is another great example, a different use case, right? And this is what I love around AI is every industry is using AI differently to solve their problems, right? So if you think about doctors and nurses and medical professionals, there's not enough of them around the world, right? Frankly, they're usually underpaid, and there's not enough of them, but there's a lot of data that they track, right? They're tracking your blood work, your test scores, your medical history, and things like that. And they're spending a lot of time on data versus on patient care, right? So you can see here just, Tidal Health and working with IBM and things like this, trying to get the analysis in front of the medical professional as quickly as they can, because obviously the sooner they can make a diagnosis, the sooner the patient can start getting treated, right? And you can see here from their point of view, just as one example of AI in healthcare, searching gets reduced a lot faster. In fact, when I saw my doctor recently, he had a little device in his hand, and while he was talking to me and so on, his AI agent, his tool, was making recommendations based on what the doctor and I were talking about and looking up in my electronic record, my medical history, right? And that was allowing him to give me, faster and more specific advice. All right. Lots of things we're going through in this session, right? One of which is who are we? What do we offer? What's the industry trends that we're starting to see? What are our partner programs like? What are our courses like in terms of how are they structured? What are the exams like? What's that experience like? I very quickly took you through 3 case studies of how industries are using AI. Let's go to the next slide.
Sure. And I'll kind of put a bow on this. I would love to have a case study why my microwave has a hot spot, though. There's no reason for it, but I
It
digress.
also talks to you, Bill, too. So I'm not sure it's a microwave. Okay. Maybe this is
That
a
could,
Kindle device and you're not aware of it, right? Maybe
well.
Alexa, you know.
So one of the things I think is important that I always share, I do a lot of HR webinars that, about this opportunity. I think everyone gets there's this massive opportunity. This is not like the year 2000 bug. If for those of you who are old enough to remember that, there's like a 2-year push. You got all this stuff's got to happen, and then it kind of turned into a nothing burger, right? Even when companies, when they adopt AI, this is not a one-off and then, oh, great. You know what? We can go on to the next thing. This is going to be continuous. And that's great from a training partner's point of view, because it's not going to be, a 1 year where you just make bank and then, figure out the next thing. This is going to continue on and on and on. So, the opportunity is, you got the opportunity. So why do we do the opportunity with AI certs? Because of what we do, because of the role specific courses tied to an exam. Exam is the credibility. And there's a brand here that you can go out and represent. So the opportunity is really cool. And the other thing too, I want to share with you, think about this on a human scale. What you're selling to corporations is not, and especially the person that you're going to have your contact, whether it's HR director, the CIO, whoever. And I mentioned I wrote a book on sales. I evangelize about sales all the time. And when I said, you know what, when you're doing business to business sales, no one cares about your thing, your service. They don't care about features or benefits. What they're buying is peace of mind. And the example I always love to give, you go out and buy a TV and you messed up, bought the wrong TV, you're out a few $100, a couple $1,000. If you make the wrong purchase for your company, you could lose your job, right? Never again in the history has there been so much spotlight on this particular thing. So people, they know they have to adopt AI. They know they need to get their workforce trained, but they also are scared that they're going to make the wrong decision because it's so high profile. That's where the brand comes in. That's where the courses, the different ways to learn. This is the way that they're going to get their workforce AI ready. And so you're selling peace of mind more than you're, reselling training. So I mentioned earlier that we have a program you can basically just plug in, regardless of what you sold. Now, again, if you have a database of past customers, this is a way to mine that and create significant revenue for AI training and certification. We have different ways to monetize the courses. We have the credibility of this global brand. Like I said, we just crossed the 500,000 mark on our app, and that's outstanding. That's crazy. Localized support. So one of the things we hadn't talked about, but all the courses today available in English and Spanish. We also have some other things, a few French. We're waiting for opportunities to localize for other, I assume a lot of the people here in this are from North America, but the one I did last week, I had people from all over the world. So, and even if
Oh
you're
yeah,
here in
yeah,
the
Bill. I
US,
mean, yeah,
you
we have
have
we have
customers, you have customers throughout the world. So that's important to know that on top of everything else, we can do courses in pretty much any language. We're waiting, like I said, English, Spanish, Mandarin, a few German, a few French, but we're waiting for partners to bring us, reasons to localize more languages. We got some questions, I understand, man.
Oh yeah, sorry. One, as you guys can probably see, frantically we're trying to group the questions together and kind of do these bulk ones, which is what tracks are available, what are the partner programs and stuff. Bill, I just put your email in to the chat because we're not going to be able to answer um, all these different things. It's funny. Someone said, is there a demand for these things, right? And I guess we're not doing a good job, Bill, because I would have thought all these different stats and partner programs, and there's a reason why there's 450 people working for us, right? I mean, it's not there's a lack of demand, it's a lack of partners to help deliver it. We're partner led, right? We don't deliver the instructor led training, for example, right? So it's interesting because I had in one of our other sessions, Bill, with one of our colleagues here on the partner team saying, is anyone asking for AI plus legal? It's like, no, of course not. There's not even job roles nowadays asking for Microsoft certifications. What they're saying is, I'm looking to hire someone who has experience in AI for this marketing role. I'm looking for someone who has an understanding of AI if you're in sales and things like that. That's what we do is AI readiness certification, right? Um, so it's interesting in terms of these are such core requirements nowadays that those core requirements are showing up in the job postings. And then the way people meet those requirements is by taking these certification programs offered by us, right? So again, if you're someone in sales, right? And I saw this a few days ago, some job postings where it's like, this person must have an understanding of AI and how it's being used by sales professionals, not an understanding of AI, but because it was a job posting for to hire a sales representative, one of the stated requirements was an understanding of AI and how it's being used in sales, right? So that's the way we're seeing the demand for these things. And then likewise, when I talked about the healthcare industry and AI plus legal healthcare, and then we have AI plus doctor and AI plus nurse, and so on. That is because everyone inside a hospital or inside a healthcare organization, whether you're the receptionist, whether you're a lawyer, right? Many medical hospitals have lawyers and salespeople and marketing people. All of them need to understand the fundamentals, to have practical knowledge of how AI works, right? So um, it's
I'll give you an
pretty,
example for healthcare that so I mentioned earlier about, selling SQL classes and no one knowing that. Another example is, our partners, our traditional IT training companies have sold, a Windows Server class, or maybe they sold an Excel class to a hospital over the years. We're seeing partners now do five-figure deals training the entire healthcare
yep.
system. Again, literacy, job roles, executives. So again, regardless of the organization, healthcare, legal, whatever, every single company is looking for answers for AI readiness.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I think it's a good example in terms of many of our partners already have these customers, right? They're already serving them. They're already seeing that need. Maybe they've done traditional, IT or software training to their customers in the past. These are, you said it earlier. I'm going to say it again. These are like turnkey solutions because many of our partners start off with selling these e-learning certification programs into their current customers. If they're in the instructor-led business, then while they're selling the e-learning, they're ramping up their instructors to become certified to teach these AI courses as well. So a number of our partners take different paths, but what they're trying to do is help the customers they're serving or the customers or the market segments that they want to serve on helping them get ready. Someone said in the chat, like, who are your competitors, right? Well, I think AI readiness is, this new market opportunity that came up over the last 2 years, really accelerated when AI tools like ChatGPT became mainstream and then quickly are just overwhelming all these job roles in these industries. But, traditionally you look at things like, CompTIA and Easy Counsel, like I call them almost like vendor neutral, like just the generalists of the world. In our courses, we call out and highlight very specific apps, tools, and technologies used by that role or used by that industry, right? Our phrase is, vendor aligned, right? So on one side, you have companies that do technical training, how to use very specific software and things like that. Maybe it's Microsoft training partners and so on. There's that group. We're adjacent to them. We're about getting people practical knowledge, getting them ready for AI. And then over here, you have the ones that are a little bit more traditional, right? I mean, kind of, getting a little bit outdated with, well, let's just talk generally about these things. Yeah, I'm sure we have some competitors. There's probably some in maybe some specific industries, but I don't know of anyone that's covering all these different job roles across all these different companies. But I know we ran out of time. Sorry, a little long-winded at the end. You have Bill Becker's email there. You have access to our website. If you have any additional questions, contact Bill. Fill out the form on the website. You can fill out the partnership form. You can, contact us form and things like this. You're going to get a copy of the recording, later on after this thing's done. But let's wrap up this thing because I want everyone to get back to whatever they were doing before they spent an hour with us.
Appreciate everyone's time.
All right. Well, at this point, someone's supposed to wrap up the call, Bill.
Yeah,
okay.
sure.
Oh, there she is. There she is.
Yeah, hi. Sorry. So yes, thank you everyone for joining us. And yes, hope all your questions and queries are been solved over here and hope to see you all soon. Moreover, would like to inform you that the end of the session we will be surely sending a participant certificate from our side from our platform named as CERTs 365, right? And also in the span of 48 hours you will be receiving the recording of this session. And for more details, please visit our website www.aicerts.ai and you'll stay tuned with us and get in touch with us. And yes, surely our representative, that is a salesperson, will be getting in touch with you to solve all your queries, to book a meeting with you so that all your questions, all your doubts will be covered up. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, Ben. And thank you so much, Bill, for such a lovely conversation and providing us such an insights. Thank you so much. Good night. Have a great day. Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you.